And today we're making a little bit of a different video because I wanted to speak on this little article I found in the St. Catharines Standard. St. Catharines is a city in the Niagara region, about 30 minutes away from Hamilton and an hour away from Toronto, 15 minutes away from the border of the United States as well. Um, why I wanted to make this video, of course, is it is not as related to politics and the economy as well, but it does speak to that indirectly. You know, if we keep being lenient on crime and we don't you know advocate for the proper justice being delivered when we have cases that are you know extremely bad, but then the criminals get a lenient sentence. We have to speak on that because that does affect us all. It affects everyone's, it affects the society, not only the economy indirectly. If we have unsafe communities and unsafe criminals running around on the streets with light sentences, of course that'll affect the economy negatively, because then businesses will say this is not a great place to invest. They don't care about keeping the country safe, so why would we say our money is safe in this country? So, but on a bigger aspect, on a bigger picture, look at this. It's bad for us as a society, and it's bad for us as a country to be letting criminals go scot free when they've done, you know, horrible crimes, or giving them lenient sentences. This has been a constant issue in the political scene, from provinces to cities to the federal level, and it is getting to a level that we have to look at some reform in the criminal justice system. So what I was saying all this for is because I read this article in the Standard of St. Catharines Standard here. It says the banality of evil. Banality of evil. Two Niagara teens sentenced for beating death of St. Catharines man. Sounds like they would have received, maybe a deep sentence, maybe something like a life sentence, or something like 10 to 15 years, something you'd expect when you hear somebody is murdered by the actions of another person, okay? But what we have here instead is the two teens have received a 3.5 year custodial sentences for second-degree murder in the death of Raymond Riley Jr. of St. Catharines, Ontario. The judges sentenced two young offenders each to 3.5 years in secure custody for the second-degree murder in the savage beating death of a 31-year-old St. Catharines man who was unable to defend himself. A gruesome crime, very, very blatant evil. It's absolutely disgusting. Judge Janet Bowie also sentenced the teens, they were aged 15 and 16 at the time of the offense, to 5 years of conditional supervision in the community for fatal beatings of Raymond Riley Jr. near the intersection of these two roads in St. Catharines. What they did to them? What did they do to this man? They kept returning to stomp on his head, meaning they gave him a beating, they went away for a while, then they came back running down the street, and they smashed the guy's head in continuously. This is inherent evil, as inherently evil as you can get. It's not some mistake like they were fighting and then they hit him too hard or something, or they were, there was some sort of, cause for, maybe a bit of thought there that, okay, there might have been something that might have, happened that would have inadvertently caused this horrible incident. But no, these guys came here and they were stomping the guy's head in like mad people, man, like thugs, complete thugs. And what did they get? They got 3.5 years. And why? Because our criminal justice system, for, let's see what it's called again, the Young Offenders Act, is very, very lenient on violent crimes. They take an extra step to not punish, and basically there should be punishment for these types of crimes here in Canada. It just really upsets me, and the family that has now had to go through this. Let me read a bit about that as well. Uh, Also, wait, before I go into that, I want to say the local lawyer, Andrew Burton, for the other teens, one of the teens in the crime, said his client hadn't provided him with any motive. It was just a horribly disgusting, inherently evil act. I can't shed any light on any explanation, either, Your Honor, other than the banality. I don't know what's this really interesting word here. Banality of evil and the simple stupidity of things that happen when people aren't properly thinking about consequences. This is their own lawyer, bro. Their own lawyer is calling them straight up evil. And what does the judge do? I mean, well, let's go into it further a little bit. As part of a plea bargain, the Crown agreed not to try the teens in adult court. Assistant Crown Attorney Henry Liming Heng said, "This is now the province. The province's own prosecutor is coming here and is giving these guys a light, slap on the wrist. 3 years in prison, you're out by 23 years old, okay?" The crime happened in 2022 when they were 15, 16 years old. Now they'd be coming on to 18. They should be tried as adults. But nope, they're getting a really great deal for themselves. They're going to be out by, even before 23, they're going to be out by 21, 22. They'll be back on the streets enjoying life then. And this man they beat down, viciously beat him down, is dead, and his family has lost a loved one. He's not just a statistic, as his family would say on here. Raymond wasn't just a statistic or a victim. He was a human being. He was my husband's son, my stepson, and had 3 siblings who not only lost their brother, but also lost their mother 3 months prior. Lindy Riley wrote that living with the memory of her stepson, helpless and unconscious in his hospital bed, covered in bruises with cuts, his head shaven and bandaged with IVs and a tube to keep him alive, was heartbreaking. My husband, who I have never seen cry in all our years of marriage, will now break down on a daily basis. He still went to work every day and coached kids at the boxing club after work, but wasn't the same man. He was constantly triggered by everything, a song, a place, even people who resembled Raymond. His life became unbearable. Lindy Riley said her husband moved to British Columbia and works 12-hour days, 7 days a week, so he has less time to sit with his thoughts. I only see my husband once a week now out of every month. This is what we had to do for his mental health. This is the reason I attend court alone. It has become extremely distressing for me at times sitting watching the defendants in court. There appears to be no remorse whatsoever. Riley's stepmother wrote, family members understood that the Youth Criminal Justice Act was extremely lenient and were trying to prepare themselves for the outcome. We are hoping that the defendants will receive the maximum sentence that the law will allow and hope it will give us a little bit of closure. Judge Bowie adjourned the sentencing hearing until October 16th to wait for Burton's Client Intensive Rehabilitative Custody and Supervision Program. Intensive Rehabilitative Custody and Supervision establishes specialized therapeutic programs and services for youths with mental health needs convicted of a serious offense. Bowie's told Riley's family and friends in courtroom that the delay wouldn't change the sentence. Now, I just want to do one thing here. Hold on, actually. Before I end this video off, I just wanted to do a small thing. Bear with me here, guys. This isn't him, I think. This is him, I think. Yep, 32 years old. This is the face of the man who died. This was the guy. Take a good look. Imagine that he's someone's son, stepson, brother, and sister. And he was just brutally murdered and beat down. And what did the offenders get for this? 3 years. What did the family get? They lost a loved one for life. Sit with that and think, what has our country come to in terms of criminal justice? And do we need reform? Let me know in the comments down below. Please consider sharing this video with those who you think would be concerned about these types of issues. Thank you very much, and goodbye.